So, very, very, very last day of March, and damn, did this month blow by. Been several places trying to do what we do to keep driving business. Business has been very, very good to us. Been praying for that rain, but doesn't change the fact that when the rain hits, sometimes you get in some mud. It tends to get you. But awesome month. We had a great month. Last month was a good month. We definitely had our hiccups, growing pains, trying to expand into North American Financial, them trying to expand with our team. It's a lot. So now we're working our way through the bugs, but I'm very, very hopeful because I think that this group of people wants to work through the bugs better than others who really kind of want to just stay status quo. In other places where I've been some great places, but the way we do things versus the way other things get done, not a lot meld together. I feel like we're melding together pretty well here, and it's just creating systems that will work better and more efficient. Cool thing here, of course, I'm always going to bring this sumbitch up, right? Because who wouldn't bring up that sumbitch when we're sitting right next to him, right? The other is, check this out. This my publisher sent over to me. Thought was really, really awesome. Another cool review. The Hollywood Digest, which is interesting because it's, music, lifestyle, fashion, LGBTQ stuff, sightings. I mean, really stuff that's vastly different than Aaron Chapman, right? Significantly different. But the article or the review by this guy, Garth Thomas, was freaking awesome. So take a look at it. It's the hollywooddigest.com/introducing Aaron Chapman's Red Economics / check it out. Really, and I'll leave this here for you guys to be able to take a look at, but it was awesome. It was, I was quite taken back. So I appreciate seeing what people have to say and what they've experienced in their own world, looking at what I have to offer, at least what I explained, just what goes on in my skull. What's interesting is how I put it in print can be very, very different than how I say it, not in the words themselves, but in the bluntness that I approach things. I don't attack quite that way. In fact, I probably to a fault don't the way that I should when somebody steps in a spot where they shouldn't. But that book, it's everything I would like to be able to say sometimes, but you kind of refrain because of the individual you're talking to. You don't want to shut them down. You want to be cautious about how you do that when I generalize it, especially point out my own faults. It makes it easier. So like they pointed out in that review, I really, really target the failures that I've had and had to overcome, and trying to give people information on where not to step is basically what I want to do. So this week so far, we've only had one day of news that come out, which was today. We haven't had much of anything else this week so far, which, I mean, it's only been the second day of the week. Feels later, though, after a day like yesterday. The FHA housing price index down just a little bit from what it was before. It was up 0.3. Now it's 0.1. S&P Case-Shiller home price index down a little bit from the previous reading. 1.9%. Now it's 1.6. Still an increase. Either way you're looking at it. Chicago. So I mean, that's still inflationary. Consider that, guys. Costs are still going up, and if you're not purchasing and you're waiting for rates to go down, the cost will just keep going up. So you're literally waiting, and you're going to prepay cost in rate. Let's look at it this way. Back when interest rates were very, very low, very common for your realtor to say, hey, be ready to offer $30,000 over list just to get in the game, and be willing to pay $100,000 over list just to get the house. Remember that? But you got a 2% rate. Awesome. But you paid $100,000 more for the house. If there's a $500,000 house, look at what you paid for that. That was a significant amount of capital, 20% more, just so you can get a 2% rate. That 2% rate doesn't make up for that. Sorry, guys, it just doesn't. Have the house in hand. And if you need that rate, and that rate just makes you feel sexy, refinance. But get your damn hands on the houses. And there's some great deals out there right now. We're working on some presently. In fact, we've got one right now. 17 grand gets you a $145,000 house. Seriously, there's one. There's the deal there. When it's all in and done, that's where the client's landing on it. So if you want to know about that one, you got to reach out to me. Let me see here. Consumer confidence. Looks like that has actually gone up a little bit. Revised, let me say the last reading was 91.0, then it revised up. It was revised down actually from 91.2, and current reading 91.8. So a little bit improved confidence. Interesting, especially when I had paid $6 for freaking diesel this last week. So Jolt's job openings, they're down. So job openings down a little bit. Let's see the effect on the market. This is the part where I'm happiest right now, because the beating has been pretty significant. Every time you open up this, you start seeing that movement. So now we went down into that level that I was really worried about getting into, right? We hit this support that I drawn way back in here, had a support in there. We hit that, stopped on it, opened below it, and went right above it. That means this price point below here is actually undervalued to traders, apparently, is what I believe, below this particular line that I had drawn out. Don't even remember when. I put that probably right back in here, and I was trying to determine when we're going to break out of this here. So it's probably back in here somewhere. I drew that back in probably July or August of last year. So we have that. It's above that. So these technical levels I leave, even though it makes my chart messy, I leave to kind of see where we might be. So this might be our floor, and then we're going up here. So look, we've climbed back up. We may be hitting that line again. Again, this is where that value peaks out if we don't have quantitative easing talks. And this is if we have very, very heavy quantitative easing talks. We get into then when they start having quantitative easing announcements, you go above this. That's the pattern that I'm seeing. I'm not saying it's the truth. I'm just saying it's a pattern that I'm witnessing. I'm not saying that's what's driving these markets 100%. Just an estimation from looking at these over the years. But right now we're at least have seen a floor, which to me makes me happy that we found that, and we'll see if we continue to play in that space. So that's that's Tuesday, the 31st. We still got, the rest of the week, all the start of April. Talk to you guys soon.